It's Monday, and time for I've Assessed, Now What? With Jenny from Link to Teach. So, I am super excited you're here today. I have created a tool that I think you're going to want to use. If not, you're going to want to find some form of it to use in your classroom. Today's topic is going to be on collecting data through observation. As teachers, we are constantly asked to collect data on our students, especially in literacy and math. Now, what I've decided to do is, so many times when I sit in meetings and we talk to teachers about what's going on with a student they have concerns about, I have heard this sentence said time and time again. I just know they're not getting it. And so then our psychologist will say, well, what data do you have to show us? And but I know in my heart as a teacher, this child's not getting it. Well, that's not enough. But guess what? You do know. You are their teacher. You spend all day with them. You know your kids inside and out. So I'm going to show you a way that you can keep track of all those daily things. Very simple and easy. And you can start using this tomorrow in your class. Thanks for sharing out, Kelly. Hello from Central Iowa. I'm glad that you're here if you just were talking about this issue. We as teachers know our students. We do. This is why we love teaching, because we love our kids and we want to help them. Now, we need to start collecting data on our kids daily. Things we're just seeing them do. It doesn't have to be rocket science. So I have a complete blog post on this on my personal blog at linktoteach.com. Now I'll show you all of that in just a second, but I wanted to explain to you the rationale first. And teachers do know their kids. I'm going to teach you a way to show everyone at that meeting and the parents that you know what you're talking about. Okay? So grab yourself some kind of notebook or a binder. Everybody has their personal preferences. It does not matter what you do. I am a reading specialist and I am an RTI teacher who teaches kids literacy in grades K through 5 in my district. Right now I have 25 students, I believe. So, varying ages, but I keep track of my kids this way. This is mine. If you look at this, I've got it tabbed 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. Now, you could tab each of your students. I was talking to my principal about this today. You teach 1st grade. Okay, so this would be perfect because you're seeing things daily in those kids and they're changing daily. They're 1st graders. They're going to learn and change daily. So do tabs with each of the students' name. Now, what I would do is maybe keep a binder so that you can move things around really quick. Mine don't move around really quick. When I get my students, they usually stay with me for at least 9 weeks. But when you're working with kids and you want to work with groups, maybe you want to use a binder and just have all these papers inside your binder so you can quick take them out and move them where you need to. What I suggest is going ahead and putting tabs for maybe your guided reading groups. And then each of the students behind there that are in that group will be there. Then when you go to collect data on them daily during your guided reading time, it'll be right there. And you just go to that tab and you'll be able to document all the things you're seeing your student do. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I like to document is this. How many times do you have independent reading time and you look out and someone's going, and then the other kids are going, oh, and then someone's looking at you. You think, how are you reading, sweet pea, if you're looking at me? Because every time I look at you, you're looking at me. So we need to record these observations. What are they doing with their independent reading time? This is very important. Kids need to be reading during that independent reading time, and if they're not, we need to decide what we're going to do about that. How are we going to help them gain those experiences? They should be doing that. You don't answer. I'm not sure what you meant by whatever you typed. That's why I didn't answer. Go ahead and look at this. I went ahead and made a spreadsheet, independent reading checklist. Now the one thing you need to know is what are your students doing? TAP. I don't know what TAP means. Is TAP? I don't know what TAP means. Okay, so if we go along here, you see D means, okay, they're obviously distracted. They're looking around. They're messing around. Okay, E, they're engaged in their reading. Okay, T, they're talking. I have so many that talk during their independent reading time. F, they're faking. I don't think, did I say tab? I think I said tab, not tap. Sorry. Oh my goodness. And then right here, I said looking at the teacher. And that's the last thing I talked about. And believe it or not, I put that on there because I see that all the time. So I tab with my students' names, okay, not tap, and I go ahead and I put their names on a tab on the papers that are theirs. So, but I also have a guided reading one where this would be just my list. Now, since I only have a few kids in my guided reading list, this is actually what mine looks like. I only have, 4 kiddos in that group, so mine's really little, and I just taped it in there. But I thought teachers might want one that's a little longer. You're going to have bigger groups than that, okay? The other thing that I do is I keep track, and I once in a while have the kids once a week or so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all together. It's all on my blog post, and I will tell you at the end how you can grab all of this, okay? Now, I go ahead and I say, all right, now, book choices. What did they choose this week when they're at the library? Bring your books. Let's share your books. Talk about your books. Bring your book to the table, sweetheart. Let's see what you're reading. Obviously, Mr. Caden loves Fly Guy. So he's got his Fly Guy book and he's cracking up and ready to go. I now know Caden likes books that are funny, and Fly Guy is funny. I know one that likes I Can Read stories, and she got one about Fancy Nancy, so I know I can grab some of those for her. One liked books on dogs. I saw one kid picked only nonfiction books, Hot Wheels, and cars. So obviously, he likes cars. That tells me a little bit about them just by the choices they made at the library. So I can now go to the library, go to my library, I can go to Epic Online, which is an online app that has tons of books, I think over 10,000 books for kids. I can go to all kinds of places and find those kinds of things for my kids and provide that to them, whether it be a hard copy in a basket or whether I find a book in Epic and I send it to them. Did you know you could do that in Epic? I can pick a book and send it to a child's mailbox, and then when they get there, they have mail from me. It's a book they might want to read. So that's a wonderful tool too. We have Newsy because there's tons of articles. Kids want to know about what's going on in the world, okay? So the next thing that I've got for you is we need to continue, especially with our younger ones, checking their reading and their understanding with what we're reading each day. Epic is amazing. I've got lots of scopes on that. So I have created an informal running record. It's very basic. There are 100 squares. You may have seen some like this. There are 100 squares because most running records will give you a true measure of the reading ability if you listen to 100 words read. Each time they read a word correctly, you put a check mark. If they do not read the word correctly, you write the word they said with a line and the word it should have been. And you do that quickly all the way through. When the boxes are filled, you're done with your running record. It could be on a guided reading book you're doing. It could be on, you could even do a shorter passage and just change your percentage. You don't have to do 100. That's just the suggested. So younger kids, you might want to do 50, okay? So this is something I can use no matter what. You know how sometimes when you go to do a running record, you have to have the actual running record page that comes with it through DRA or A to Z or any of those? You don't have to do that. You can pick something you're doing instructionally, and you know what? That's best because those are the things that you're asking them to read every day, okay? And then I come over here and I have a little bit of questioning that I ask them. I want to know about retelling. Can you tell me what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end of that little short passage that you read? Can you tell me, if it's nonfiction, what's the main idea? What are some details that you picked up from that passage? And then I just put like a little rubric over here. 1 means this, 2 means this, up to 4 means this. Obviously 4 being the best. Then we come down here and you write, okay, I'm going to do all my totaling. Here's my data. This is what I want to look at, and this is what I want to look at when I'm sharing this information or when I'm looking at this information to see how my kiddo's doing, and I might need to switch the group they're in. They might fit better with a different group, or I might need to change what I'm doing in my guided reading group. Maybe I need to focus more on some of the things I'm seeing there. Okay, next, book chats. Book chats should be done privately. This is just a conversation between you and your students, okay? So a book chat, I came up with one, which I've been doing different reading inventories, interest inventories, and things for years. I wasn't finding one I liked, so I came up with one, and I'll show you where to get it. But this book chat, I just talk to the kids about books. And the questions, I figured when I was reading this before the scope, I could ask that to any age child. And so it works. Like, what is the title of the book you're reading right now? Clue, are they reading a book right now? 2, what's the title? It tells you a little bit about them. How'd you find the book? Did someone show them? Did they grab it because someone else suggested it, or did they not know? That's not good. Is this a new type of book for you? Are you enjoying it? Why or why not? I have things like that. Maybe just read a little bit to me and let's see how you do with that, because sometimes they pick books because their friends have them and they're way too hard. And I feel bad, maybe I could suggest I could read that with you. Do you have an older brother or sister, or mom and dad that can read that with you? So give them suggestions. You don't want them to feel failure, and you don't want them checking books out only to turn them in on the due date. How many kids do you have who all they do is check them out and turn them in? What are we teaching our kids? Not that reading is fun and not to love reading. Okay, so would you recommend this book to someone, and why? So just simple things. Now, you don't have to stick to this script. My suggestion is start with this and then let the conversation go where it needs to go. And you two just have a heart-to-heart about what's going on in their little reading life, okay? So that's a book chat. Now, on my blog post at link2teach.com, I spelled this all out for you. There is another thing that I would like to see you do, and that is number 5, and that is stop and jots. Have you ever heard of stop and jots? Now, you might have done this and just didn't know it was called that, but before you're going to read a story, yes, good. Before you're going to read a story or a passage with your students, kind of preview through it and think, what do I want them to know? What skill are we working on, and where's a good stopping point where I can stop and ask them some questions about this? So put little post-it notes in your story, your text, whatever. Stop here, and then ask them this. So you can ask comprehension questions. You can ask them to visualize. You can ask them to infer at this point in time. You can ask them to predict what's going to happen, whatever you might be working on. Okay, so it could work beautifully for anything, but I just call them stop and jots. I keep mine in, and it's helpful for substitutes. Perfect, because then they know, and they've got it ahead of time, because they don't have time to do all that work ahead of time. They just run in and have to do what you have set out for them, so it makes your sub time pretty meaningful. All right, so I have all of this in my blog post. I want to show you that real quick. All right, I hate this glare I always get. Okay, so right here, I have my blog post. It's at link2teach.com. So that's where you'll go. Let me show you what the front cover looks like. Actually, I have printed it out, so I will show you on that. It's collecting data through observation at link2teach.com. And if you go there, you'll find this particular blog post. At the end, I'm going to tell you where to get this information. Sadly, I do not have it all up and ready to go, but I have it. I just have to put it together for you. So I will do that, and I will tell you how to get it, probably through my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Okay, now let me show you that. If you go to my Teachers Pay Teachers store, this is it. It's Link to Teach. Goodness gracious, got a glare. And then if you go up here, it's just Link to Teach, okay? Now, if you go there and you actually follow me, you'll get an email telling you that I've added that item. Now, there's something else I wanted to tell you about. Have you ever heard of Rachel Lynette? She is an amazing literacy teacher. She's an author. She's on TPT, and she has a blog post or a blog called Minds in Bloom. And I was chosen to do a blog post for her, but I thought this fits with our topic tonight. What I did for her blog post, just so you want to read, you're getting a twofer here, is that I learned that I can differentiate my instruction for my students by using technology. So that's what my blog post is about, and I'll show you that. Okay, so you go to bit.ly/Minds in Bloom post. I went ahead and created that bit.ly so it's easy to get to. It's called Differentiating Literacy Instruction Using Technology. That post went live yesterday, so it's up there, and there's tons of information there and links on where you can get some of those ideas and products to use in your classroom tomorrow. Okay, another blog that I'm part of, I know I'm blogging all the time, is all about third grade. It's a group of really great third grade teachers, and I think 2 of them are on here too. Amber from Amber, I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. Amber is on here. She's also on I Teach TV Network, and Cami Butterfield's on here too. But this is a video creation tool I found that you can use to teach new strategies to kids, or also they can use it to show you their understanding. So that's a blog post about that you can check out. And then, how do you reach me? Right here. I am linked to teach on Instagram. Can you elaborate on what I do with all the great data forms you showed us? Yes, I will. And then Facebook, and this, and this, and this. Okay, so all these different places is where you can find me, and pretty much everything is just linked to teach with the number 2. Okay? All right, so let me elaborate. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to have my handy dandy little notebook. Now for me it's going to be a little different because I'm a reading specialist. Uh-oh. I hope that goes away. Okay, so I'm a reading specialist, so I did mine according to my 5 groups that I have right now. I'll have 6 soon. I went ahead and I put my kids in here. You might want to do it by guided reading. And you know what? You might want to put them in a binder so that you can move them around. Okay, mine don't move much. Okay, so then I put my, this is where I go, and I just grab this notebook when it's independent reading time, and I mark down what I see them doing with these codes, okay? I put the date up here, and then I see what they're doing. I did one the other day. Let me show you kind of how it looks. I was checking, and I thought, we need to talk about this. So during our little reading conference that I have with them, I need to talk to some of these kids, totally distracted, not reading. I don't know, they must have saw me give them a look and they started reading here, but it really does tell you what they're doing with that time. And then you can open up that conversation with the kids and say, look, at independent reading time, what was going on? Was the book too hard for you? Was this, was that? You can have those discussions. So it's all in here. And then also their book choices. What are they choosing from the library? We're just starting out, so I'm just getting some of those kids to the library now. So what are they reading so that you then can take that information, fill their baskets full of books that you think they would like. Sometimes I like to do like special delivery and run into a classroom and go, I'm so sorry, but I have to give this book to so-and-so, and I hand it to so-and-so, and they feel so special. I say, could you read this book for me? Oh my gosh, I've not seen this book. Could you read this book and come tell me about it later? Or would you just check it out for me and see what it's like? So I do those kinds of things. But honestly, what I do is I use all this information to keep me thinking about what's going on in their little reading world. And then what can I do? I can take this information, have it all in there, and then when I'm going to write my plans or I'm going to change my guided reading groups, I can look at all the behaviors that I'm seeing, I can look at all the things that's happening, and I can decide what's the best placement for them and what they need to be taught, and I can put them in the appropriate guided reading groups for that. If I see an issue with the kids, like if I were a classroom teacher, I would take it to my RTI teacher, my title teacher, my special ed team, whatever. I would talk to them about, this is what I'm seeing. And you don't just walk in there saying, hey, this kid's having problems, and I know they are. Walk in with your information. Every day I see this, and this is what's happening, and boom, 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 I've got this and this and this to show you. So there's nothing left to the imagination, and nobody going, hey, you know that Mrs. Marmion, she's always thinking her kids are low. She thinks we're supposed to test all of them. No, you've got the proof. You've got the information. So that's what this post was about. Next week we're going to a new platform. I want to show you that. Okay, we're actually, I'm going to share. Thank you. Great. The more people that can learn about easy ways to keep data. You know, I've been burned by not having data. I don't know about you guys, but I've been burned. So you might want to go to the Facebook and look up I Teach TV Network. I'm going to show you where it is, because starting Thursday, every Periscoper that scopes for I Teach TV Network, and they're amazing people, are going to now do Facebook Lives. So you will not find us on Periscope anymore. We're all transitioning to Facebook Live. Plus, you don't have to watch it during the time, but you don't get to comment then. But you can comment later They can leave feedback to you because it's just like a regular Facebook post. So you might want to go check it out. I'll show you where that is. All right, if you go to, and it looks like this, Sheila Jane's Beautiful Green, I teach TV Network, and it's right on the Facebook page, and then you're going to want to like it. And when you like it, you're going to be able to look through and see all the Facebook Live posts that are coming up. Here's her announcement. It's coming soon. So all of us will now be on here, and you can go to this page and anytime see anybody's Facebook Live and comment on it. So I guess that's a good positive. The comments come in kind of slow, so be patient with the presenter because your comments can be delayed. So if you think they're not answering you, it's because it hasn't come up yet. And you also can do just like in Periscope, give the little hearts. You can also click the little thumbs up and hearts and things like that on there too to let them know, hey, I'm here. I might not be commenting, but someone's watching. So, you know, you can ask questions and they'll answer to you. So it's got that feedback component like Periscope does. So, my name is Jenny from Link to Teach. If you need anything at all, you can contact me through linktoteach@gmail.com. You can also check out my blog at www.linktoteach.com, and then you can ask me questions there. Tab a small piece attached to a big one for classification. I guess so. All right, so Marcus, I'm sorry I didn't understand everything that you were asking me tonight. It's Monday, and I'm not in my best shape, I guess. So you guys have a wonderful Monday, and the next time I see you will be in 2 weeks, and that will be on where I just showed you, Facebook Live. So have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you later.